Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show. Game 1 of 82 is here. The Connor Bedard era is here. And so are we. We're very glad to have you with us here on opening day. We are live at our illustrious and beautiful Airbnb in downtown Pittsburgh. It is very exciting to be here. We were at the morning skate earlier today. So we've got some audio and video to share with you from Connor Bedard, Luke Richardson, Kyle Davidson, all kinds of great stuff. We've got today's lines. And of course, towards the end of the show, we're going to name our Hawks. Who's your Hawk? Starts fresh. We've hit the reset button. The score is at 0. We spun the wheel O names. And Greg got the first pick, and you'll never guess. You'll have to stay tuned to see who Greg picked in today's game. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by giving you the lines. And if you've been paying attention this preseason, none of this stuff should come as a shock to you. Your top line, Connor Bedard centering Taylor Hall and Ryan Donato. Lucas Reichel centering Tyler Johnson and Taylor Radish. Cole Gutman centering Boris Kachuk and Andreas Athanasiou. And Jason Dickinson centering Corey Perry and Nick Foligno. Now, Kurashev and Colin Blackwell start the season on IR. Colton Dock is on something called like season IR or something like that, where it's like a non-roster IR.
Roster placement.
Right. So they're scratched with IR, and then your 3 scratches for the game are Mackenzie Entwistle, Reese Johnson, and Nikita Zaitsev. Peter Mrazek will get the start in goal. So, fellas, we are there.
Defensive pairs.
Yes, defensive pairs. We are sleepy, man.
It's been a long day.
We're doing our best. Defensive pairs.
This is bad. Wait till the post game.
Yeah, seriously. Alex Vlasic and Seth Jones, Kevin Korchinski, Connor Murphy, Jared Tenorti, and Wyatt Kaiser. Those are your 3 pairs.
Post-game show.
So Kaiser joins. He takes the first gig on the right side. So something to keep an eye on tonight. Didn't really learn too much during the morning skate from either team. The Penguins had a optional morning skate.
They're already taking maintenance days.
Yeah. Well, they're ancient.
It's what happens when you're the oldest team in the league. Every day is optional.
Yeah. And I think everyone knows, the main story today is Connor Bedard, and that's what everyone's going to be keeping an eye on. I think so.
I think people are
It seems that's why
I hadn't heard anything about him.
People I've never seen in my life before were at the media session.
I must have zoned out. I didn't realize every question today was about Connor Bedard.
Every question.
Most of them.
That's why I like when we were in the locker room after practice, we went over to Connor Murphy and we were like, we're not going to ask you about Connor Bedard.
Until the other people arrived and started asking
that
about Connor Bedard.
We were like, I don't want to know. I'm sure that everybody is tired of being asked about Connor Bedard. Now they can just be like, just watch what he does.
Well, I also think Connor Bedard is tired of being asked about, Are you nervous? What's it like? What do you expect? Like, just effing drop the puck.
Well, and we'll hear it from his answers, but like he answered those questions perfectly. He was just like, this is normal. Like, this is just what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, I don't know life otherwise.
Well, let's kind of go chronologically here. The first person we talked to today before the morning skate was Kyle Davidson. We have not heard from him in quite a while. So we have the first 6 minutes or so of his news conference where he does start talking about Connor Bedard. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with Blackhawks general manager Kyle Davidson.
With Connor Bedard, obviously we've been able to see him the first 2 weeks. Just what do you think of where he's come up to this point, and how excited are you to see what he can do from here on out?
Yeah, I think he came in with, a very high level, not only of play, but also high level work ethic off the ice. And so I'm excited for him to get going. I know he's really looked forward to this, and he wants to play for real the real games, and he's been looking forward to opening night here for quite some time. So excited to see him get going.
How has he handled everything? I mean, this is heady stuff for anybody, but especially an 18-year-old.
Unbelievable. The attention, the level of demand on him has been very high, unlike anything that I've seen for a young player, certainly since I've been around the Blackhawks. And it's just he's handled with a maturity so far beyond 18 years. It's been really impressive to watch. And he doesn't get much of a break coming in with some national games and Pittsburgh, Boston, Montreal, Toronto. It's serious stuff, but he's handled it very well, and I have no hesitation that he's going to continue to handle it in a very professional manner.
Do you get asked a lot of questions about Bedard, either from your peers or people on the street? You know, what are they asking about him?
Yeah, I think it's certainly the talk of the team, right? And understandably so. Just lots of curiosity. You know, what's he like off the ice, and you know what makes him different. Those sort of things. And so it's just a lot of you know the attention and curiosity is very, very high around him, and I understand it. And so yeah, it's obviously something I get asked a lot about.
Do you feel like you need to protect him at all, or try to shelter him given his age and everything? Have you felt that instinct at all?
I think you feel that way about any of your players, and then you know we've got some younger players on the team, and so I think it's a natural instinct to want to just make sure they're in the most comfortable spot and best spot to be productive on the ice, because that's their singular focus is the hockey and how they perform on the ice. But you know what, I think our organization, whether it's the PR staff or the business staff, and then the coaches and management, we're always looking out for the best interest of our players, and you know, making sure they can only, you know, take on what they can handle. And then when you know add into the mix something like Connor's experience so far is, you know, you stay in touch with them and make sure they're in a good spot. And you know, if you need to dial it back a little bit, you have to. But we haven't had that experience so far. And you see how well he's handled things, and so you know he's in a good spot and he feels ready. And so we're happy for him. We're excited for him.
Trying to find that balance of the pressure. Is it a good idea to take this first game and use it as an opportunity to maybe start to define something special, or is it dangerous to put that much pressure on him?
Yeah, no, I think, you know, one game, I'm sure people will draw a ton of conclusions. I don't think that's necessarily the realistic approach. It's, you know, he's an 18-year-old stepping into the best league in the world. There may be some acclimation and growing pains that go along with that. But you know what, we're so lucky to have him. And from a team standpoint, you know, it takes time for things to gel and for things to set. And so, you know, we'll kind of look at it more in bigger increments and see what adjustments or assistance needs to be put in place to help, you know, either the development of any individual player or the team, and just kind of go from there. But I think, you know, 1 or 2 games is a little too small of a sample size.
Kyle, at the end of tonight, at the end of that first game, despite what's going to come down the road, what do you hope he's feeling at the end of tonight?
I don't know. I hope he feels happy with his game. He's got a very high standard for what he expects of himself. You know, I think he's his harshest critic, and so you want to make sure he's taking it all in stride and being realistic about what he can do from a night-to-night basis and a game-to-game basis. But you know, hopefully he feels good about his game and happy with the result. You know, hopefully we can come in and get a win on opening night, and he'll be satisfied with that. But you know, I just hope for him that he's he comes out, has a good game, feels good about his game, and feels good about the team result.
How much have you studied what the Penguins did to surround Crosby, or the Oilers have been trying to do to surround McDavid, or the Leafs to surround Matthews, right? Like, what's your challenge going forward over the next few years, and like, what do you draw from the past, if anything?
I think you always try and take a little bit from everyone's situation, but at the same time, every situation is very unique. And so we talk about it, you know, we talk about it at length internally, and we analyze it every day. And you know, whether it's Connor, Kevin, you know, Vlasic, Kaiser, you know, any of those young guys, Lucas, you know, it's about putting the right people around them and making sure the right personalities and players are around them to maximize their development. And so, you know, we have looked at what other teams have done, but again, it's so different from team to team, from situation to situation, that you just have to establish what you think is best and then try and execute upon that. And that's what we feel we've done so far.
That was Kyle Davidson this morning before the Hawks morning skate. I kind of like that last question. You know, are the Hawks looking at the way other teams handled, you know, McDavid and Matthews and things like that? And I don't know if people just aren't paying attention, but that is exactly why they traded for Taylor Hall. That is surrounding him with someone that's going to help him take pressure off of him on and off the ice, give him someone on his line that can score and distribute like that. I don't know if people are just missing that or what, but Taylor Hall is here to be Connor Bedard's left wing. That's why he's here.
Right. Yeah. Guys like Hall and Donato, as well as Corey Perry and Nick Foligno, like they were brought in for specific purposes of making sure that Connor Bedard had not only guys to play with, but also guys that would be able to, lead a locker room, mentor Bedard in different ways. Perry's a former MVP. We all forget about that, but Corey Perry's a former MVP in this league. Taylor Hall's a former MVP in this league, former #1 overall pick. There's reasons that they're here to help Bedard, to help the locker room, try and keep things going forward as we get into the season where, the wins are not going to outnumber losses. We're not at that stage yet. So it's to keep the locker room up, to keep Bedard up, keep the young guys up, spirits and keeping, the mood light coming into the rink every day. And that was a big thing last year, is like making sure that guys were able to come into the rink every day and want to come to work, even though you were losing most of your games. So that's why they're here. Hall is going to be paired with Bedard all season, no matter what, the third pair, the third guy on that trio is. It's always going to be Bedard and Hall. And yeah, I think it's a good way to put together the team. I mean, you look at some of those the Penguins teams of early on in Crosby's career, like, yeah, Mario Lemieux was there at the end of his career, and Crosby went out his rookie season and was the best player on the Penguins.
Yeah.
So I think that's, kind of the similar situation that Bedard's walking into. You could argue it, but I think Connor Bedard is the best player on the Blackhawks right now, stepping on the ice.
I don't think there's much question about it. I mean, I think Seth Jones has an argument, but it's different positions and different impacts made. But if he's not first, he's second.
He's the most dynamic player on the team.
Oh, there's no doubt.
The one, I kind of like how Kyle ended that, talking a little bit about Lukas Reichel and Wyatt Kaiser and Kevin Korchinski. He's like, Connor Bedard's not the only young player here. And then I thought, man, that is a really good, kind of a great, perfect storm for Wyatt Kaiser, who's playing his first NHL game on his offside. Lukas Reichel playing his first NHL game at center. Kevin Korchinski playing his first NHL game, and nobody is paying any attention to those guys.
Right.
There is zero pressure on those guys.
Yeah.
Perfect storm for those other young guys to be like, well, all the spotlight's on number 98. I could just go out there and do my job, and I don't have to worry about that spotlight on me right now.
Well, we're paying attention to Kevin Korchinski. We're going to hear from Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson on him in a little bit, but we want you to hear from Connor Bedard as well. Quick response here, but he was basically asked, like, what kind of lessons did you learn in your preseason play this year?
Stuff you kind of expect, just less time and space, and obviously bigger, faster players, and there's obviously adjustments with little things like that for sure. So I thought preseason was good, just to kind of grow your game, and I felt like I got better as it went on, and excited for the real season to get going.
That's it. And those are the adjustments he's going to have to make, right? Like what worked in junior, that's not going to work in the NHL. And I think he got some of those lessons early on, where we saw him, in that rookie game, change the angle on 2 of the 3 goals he scored. And the NHL teams, even in the preseason, went right to school on it. We saw him try to do it a couple times, and the shot would get blocked or deflected. And look, that happened in junior for him too. So it's nothing to panic about. But I saw Scott Powers write about it the other day, that even Austin Matthews has reinvented his shot 3 times since entering the NHL. These players are always adjusting because their opponents are always adjusting. So the adjustments early on are what Bedard is going to have to deal with and learn.
Yeah, and all this talk today and for the last 3 months about all this pressure on Bedard. Are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? The person who's least worried about the pressure on Connor Bedard is Connor Bedard.
Right.
This kid doesn't seem fazed by any of this. He's just like, just another hockey game for me, man. I'm sure he mentioned that, like, yeah, I'll have some butterflies. I'm not going to be scared, but I'll be a little nervous, but that shows you care. And he's just going to go out there and play hockey. Once that puck drops and you get through that first shift, you take that first hit, You're just like, okay, this is the sport I've been playing my whole life. Let's do this.
Score that first goal
on the first shot.
That'd be nice.
Shift. Yeah. No, so everybody's worried about the pressure on Connor Bedard except Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Or at least he's either not worried about the pressure or he has the world's greatest poker face.
Yeah, I mean, he was asked today by a Pittsburgh reporter, like, how'd you sleep? Like a baby. Without hesitation. He had no hesitation. He went on to sort of say that he was a little more nervous yesterday because of flying in and everything. But again, like you said, his acknowledgement of nerves are good. Like, I think we all get nervous as the countdown's playing every show. It means you give a shit.
Yeah,
it means you want to do a good job, right? Like, nerves are good. If you're not nervous before your livelihood, you know, you don't get butterflies before. I think about like someone who works in sales has to make a presentation to their boss. No matter how good you are at sales, you get those butterflies and you want it to go well because you care and because it matters and because it affects your life or your team or whatever. So it's good stuff. Luke Richardson went on to talk about what he has told Bedard about getting ready for the NHL and how to sort of make those adjustments that he referenced in the last cut.
You know, he's used to being like so far advanced, like at the levels that he's played at, that, you know, he can kind of take over a game and control a game. And here, he probably will be that player. But right now, I think learning the league, you know, this is his first time playing against all these great players. You know when the other team's vulnerable, and then that's when you, you know, maybe take on someone one-on-one or do something special or try to find a higher end play. But when it's 1-on-3 and you don't, you know, your line mate's changing and you don't feel and you have to think about it for a second, then that's usually your first instinct is usually the right one. Lay it in behind them, do some work, let your teammates do some work, and let the puck come back to you. So I think every shift is not going to be great. I know the one game, exhibition game, he had a goal and 2 assists, and it was an empty net goal, and he didn't even want to celebrate it, and he just looked bummed out after the game. And I said, hey, a goal's great and a win's great for the team. There'll be nights that, and he was just hard on himself. And I said, you're going to play great games in this league and not get any points. And if the team wins, that's great. And I think you'll have to just learn that and be comfortable with it and know that when his time comes, he has the ability to break open a game. And he's just got to wait for that right time and you know it and then execute then.
I think that's a really good message from Luke Richardson. And I think the fact that Bedard reacted after that game where he had the empty net goal and the team won, that Luke had that opportunity to make that statement in the preseason and say, look, man, a win's a win. Be happy about the win. Be happy about your performance. Most people will be thrilled with a 3-point night. You don't have to be perfect every night. And in this league, your success will not be measured by, I mean, partially it will be, but only by how many points are on your score sheet at the end of the night.
Right. I mean, what does everybody talk about Connor McDavid? The dude's been the best offensive player we've seen in 30 years, but the first thing people say, well, he's not won a cup.
Win something.
Yeah. So, the team, ultimately, the team, you know, your team success will define your career to a lot of people. So, what's more important, a 4-point night and you lose by 2 goals, or a no-point night but your team wins?
I mean, tonight, I'll take a 4-point Connor Bedard game.
Right. I mean, that was a general question.
Right. Yes.
That you ask him,
of course,
for your career. You know, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Would you rather win it and have no points, or lose it and have 2 goals?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So no. Tonight, I would love him to get on the board early, get those nerves out of his system. You know, the quicker he goes, oh yeah, I can score in this league,
I can do this. Yeah.
The better off he's going to be.
Yeah,
Watch me go do it again. And apparently we have our friends at CIRCA. Have for those of you who believe he's going to score early or don't believe he's going to score early, they've got some bets for you.
Yeah, our new friends at CIRCA Sports Illinois, they're going to be putting up goal and shot props for Connor Bedard for every game. For today's game, he is plus 195 to score a goal, minus 225 to not score. Boo. His shots on goal are set at 2.5. The over is minus 150. The under is plus 130.
He might hit the over in his first shift on those shots.
Yeah.
He's going out firing.
I think so. So download the CIRCA Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app That's the website, circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for CIRCA events, watch parties, and tailgates. And if you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com. And I just want to put a bow on the Bedard conversation. Looking back on this preseason, I'm really glad it went the way it did. He had success. He had 5 points in 4 games. He had several teaching moments of this doesn't work here and don't pout about your empty netter, all when the games didn't mean anything. Right. So, and he's kind of got that in his mind, that monkey on his back of, I have not scored a non-empty net goal yet. So that fire is kind of burning in him too.
Yeah.
And he pretends like he doesn't see this stuff. It's impossible to avoid, where the NHL posts highlights of him and they're like, kid can't even score, didn't even score on that one. And people laughing at him on the Marc-Andre Fleury thing. And all these fan bases that are coping with not having Connor Bedard. Maybe he doesn't see all of it, but he sees some of it. And I think it's feeding that fire. And I think that he's going to use that more as a motivator, just from what we've seen from him lately, than something that's going to hold him back and make him struggle.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't want to see him burn through the preseason, have 10 points in 4 games, score all these goals, have all these amazing highlights in preseason games, and then comes out tonight in a hypothetical situation and has like one shot, is a -4, and looks completely like dunked on as an 18-year-old rookie, So I think to have a good preseason, that he put good things on tape, but like you said, also there's plenty of teaching moments both on and off the ice. I think that's perfect for him. And again, from what he said today about the pressure and feeling, how do you make this feel normal and stuff for him? He's in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
He is doing exactly what he wanted to be doing at 18 years old. Make the NHL, and be an NHL pro. That's everything that he's been working for. So hopefully when he steps on the ice, it's more of a, not pressure, but more of a like I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I've accomplished this goal. His goal all summer since the minute he was drafted was, well, I got to make the team first. All right, kid, you made the team.
Yep.
Now go put up 50. Like, let's just,
Sure.
go out and take a breath. You're in the NHL. Now go out and prove why, all these people, including us, are very excited about
And
you.
this is a kid that has faced very little adversity on the ice. He's been the best player everywhere. Even his last year at Regina, that team, there wasn't much around him, but he literally carried them to the second round, carried them and took them to a game 7 of that series. So when that team lost, nobody said, oh my God, Connor Bedard choke. No, it was, oh my God, nobody else did anything.
This is as far as he could drag them.
Yeah. So maybe this not scoring a goal in the preseason is the first time he's actually been like, all right, I kind of failed. I've never done that before. This sucks. I'm never going to do it again.
I only had 5 points in 4 games.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah, serious. I mean, that could be, in his mind, that could be the first real adversity he's ever had. And I agree with you. I think he has the personality that's going to fuel him and push him, not deter him.
Yeah.
He gives these glimpses of swag. Like, how'd you sleep? Like a baby.
Yeah.
Or
I
I'm
think
Connor
you're-
Bedard. I'm not anybody else. I'm Connor Bedard.
I think you're talking about Riz.
He has Riz,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Ritz, as I say to annoy my daughter.
I wish I had some Ritz. They're delicious.
I always ask her,
Yeah.
why are you salty about my Ritz? Dad, shut up.
Yeah,
But you're right. Yeah,
he does have those moments because you know when he's around his buddies, he's just like on the stuff.
Yeah.
But then he gets in front of these cameras like, nope, I'm just humble.
Well, yeah, but I still
but you
think
know
he's-
it's there. And when
But he's not a dick, though.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But when he scores that goal tonight, you're going to see that Selly, and it's going to be something special.
All right, but tonight's not all about Connor Bedard. We got a few minutes left. The other big story, as Greg mentioned earlier, Kevin Korchinski's making his NHL debut, and we're not really sure what this means. Is he going to play 10 games, 20 games, the whole year? We don't know. Kyle Davidson was asked earlier, what is the plan for Kevin Korchinski?
The plan is to just take it day by day and see how it goes. It's probably longer than a little day by day. As I said, we want a good sample size and a good feel for how he's doing and how he's feeling and the positive steps that he can take. So we'll give that a little bit of time. There's a lot of talk around the 10-game threshold, and we're just going to do what we think is best for the player. In the end, if the contract slides or it doesn't, if we don't put the player in the best position to develop into the player that we want, whether that entry level lasts 3 or 4 years, it doesn't, or 5 years, I should say, he already slid once. But whether we get those slides, it doesn't matter if he doesn't develop into the player we want. And so we're going to just make sure that he's in the best position to maximize his potential, and we'll analyze that on a moving forward basis. But there's no plan, and there's no real ABC either. We're just going to take it as it comes and make the best decision when the time comes, if we have to make a decision.
So it's interesting that he said that 10-game mark. He mentioned it. So that's a marker for them, is that 10-game mark. And I think, and we're going to hear from Luke here in a second, they've all been very congrats. It's up to you to stick around here. So they're not, I'll say this. I think if their plan was definitely to send him back, the communication to him would be different.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they know that, all right, we're not going to burn his year, he's going to play 7 or 8 games and then he's going back to junior. He'd probably already being told, like, hey, just do the best you can. There's no pressure on you. We just want to see. And if you got to go back, it's no big deal. No, they're telling him, if you perform, you're here. Show us you can do it. That's different messaging. So yes, I think that 10-game mark is a good evaluation spot. That would burn the contract, of course, but we've seen that Kyle Davidson is not worried about that, because in his mind, burning a contract year makes that next contract more affordable.
Yeah,
which is actually pretty smart business.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But the messaging to me from Kyle, and you'll hear it again in a minute from Luke, is not like, just do the best you can, kiddo. It's, hey man, you've earned this job. Now go keep it. And you can keep it.
I think it's fairly obvious that this team wants him here the whole season, because
that would be great.
What better way can you control what he's doing than when he's on your team, as opposed to sending him to Seattle, a different organization that, quite frankly, are going to run him into the ground if it gets him back to a Memorial Cup. They don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, your shoulder hurts. Get out there. I'm not saying they're going to
29
minutes.
Now your back's going to hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So they would love him to be here the whole season, but they're making it's going to be completely up to him and how he performs. And it's the best way to handle it, I think. If the kid can do it, do it. And you have, as I've said before, you've got Luke Richardson, Kevin Dean, guys who have played, over 2,000 NHL games at defense between the two of them.
Yeah.
They're not going to give him more than he can handle.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from Luke Richardson right now. He sort of talks about his plan for Kevin Korchinski.
We talked to him, all through camp quite a bit. Kevin spends a lot of time with Kevin, and that gets confusing sometimes. But yesterday Kyle and I spoke with him as well, and just congratulated him on a job well done. He deserves this opportunity. Now it's up to him to keep that opportunity, and that's everybody in sports. But he's a quiet kid. He's competitive. I think his skating ability is what is going to get him out of a lot of trouble in defensive situations and help in the offensive situations. And he's got some high-end offensive talent, but as a defenseman, you still have to learn to play defense first. And I think that's something that Seth's worked on. He's getting better at it all the time. And it doesn't have to be an up and down 200-foot shift in the offense every shift. I think, just like I mentioned with Connor, you look for the opportunities when the other team breaks and cracks, and that's when you go as a defenseman and you jump in there. And he has the wheels to get back, and he seems to have an endless gas tank. So that's great for the coaches, but he still has to not play the game safe, because we don't want to play safe and sit back. You'll never have the puck. We just want him to play smart. And when the play is not there, you have an out. As a defenseman, a young defenseman, have an out. It might not be tape to tape all the time. It's okay to put it off the glass into the neutral zone. and let your forwards do a little bit of work and reset. And I think that's hard for a guy coming from junior that's the best player, can skate all over the place with the puck. I think it's and there's going to be a couple times where he thinks he can, and it doesn't happen. We'll remind him, but we have patience for that. And as long as that doesn't keep reoccurring and rehappening, then I don't think there's an issue with it.
I love the idea of smart, not safe. Don't play scared. Don't play afraid to make a mistake, but just know the situation and survive in advance to the next shift if you can, if there's nothing there.
Most coaches are not going to chew you out for making a safe play.
Right.
Like it's better to do that and then go back and watch the tape or go back to the bench and be told, hey, like there's nothing wrong with that, but next time, you can see, is this open? Is this open? You'd rather, if I was a player, if I was a coach, I'd rather have that situation than a player tries to make something happen and it goes back the other way and ends up in the back of your net. I would having a guy that young at that stage of his career in this game specifically, making safe, smart plays, totally fine with that.
And that messaging also tells him, hey, you can make a mistake out there and you don't have to worry about it. Like, we're not going to bench you.
Right.
We're not going to cut you. Like, make a mistake, learn from it, and avoid making it again.
I feel like with Korchinski, for him to, be told, you know what, you need to go back, he's going to have to look atrocious. Like with the defensive group that they have.
Yeah.
Like there's
a bunch of better options
for him to be yanked out of the lineup and like
for them to go
benched.
Nikita Zaitsev is a better option.
He has to look absolutely out of his league, which I don't anticipate that being the case.
I feel fairly confident that he will be here for the full season. And if he's struggling, maybe you send him back to juniors.
Sure.
But I think he's here for all 82.
And I think it's safe and important for us to say here before game one, if he is sent back to junior, don't think it means he's a bust. Don't think it's
a failure.
I think him playing at all this year is a bit of an early arrival for him. Like when he was drafted, we all said, 2-3 years, and this is 2, but barely.
A different general manager would have had him playing last year.
Well, yeah, he who shall not be named would have.
Right.
But I will also say a more traditional GM probably would not have him playing this year.
Probably not. I mean, and if the CHGO dumb rule wasn't a thing, then you have Rockford.
I thought you were naming another ALLCITY network.
I think you were going to say the CHGO rule. I was like, what rule do we have?
I almost it almost came out.
CHMG.
Yeah, it almost came out. But no, the CHL rule. If that wasn't an effect, he'd be here, but you also have you need a refresher. Go spend a couple weeks in Rockford, and then we'll bring you back.
I'm looking forward to in 15 years when Isaac Phillips is done playing hockey, he becomes a lawyer just to defeat the CHL rule that kept him out of the NHL this year.
Kevin Korchinski.
Yes. No, it'll be Isaac Phillips who says, screw this rule. Had this rule not been in place, Kevin Korchinski would have been in Rockford and I would have been in Chicago.
Okay. Yes.
So he'll battle against it as Isaac Phillips, attorney at law. All right. Speaking of predictions, let's make them. Who's your Hawk? Greg, you had the honors, so surprise everyone with your.
I did some
out on a limb pick.
Yeah,
I did some
Galaxy brain this one.
I did some extensive research. I looked at the matchups. I looked at the numbers. I looked at blue lines. I looked at graphs. And Connor Bedard's my pick.
Ooh!
Oh, wow!
Shocking!
All that analytical data told you that.
Everything. It was the spiral graph that put it over the edge.
Oh, good.
It's usually the pie chart for me.
I want to see what his spirograph looks like. That'd be interesting. All right, I had the second pick, and I did not do anything fancy like you. I'm an eye test guy.
Yeah, you went old school.
And I was looking for a sign from the universe. And as we were awaiting our Uber,
it's true,
to Burgatory, where we had lunch. And if you're ever in Pittsburgh, holy shit, go to Burgatory.
Amazing.
I saw a human being in a Chicago Blackhawks Corey Perry jersey, and that was my sign from the hockey gods that Corey Perry is my Who's Your Hawk.
And it was not Corey Perry.
It was not Corey Perry or his child.
Perry, no.
Yeah, let's talk about dark horses. That's not a bad one to choose.
Power play goal, baby.
Yeah, I went for the third pick. I went with the analytics of the new dad strength. I'm going with Taylor Hall. Congratulations to him and his wife Rachel on the birth of their son. I expect Taylor Hall to score a goal tonight.
Sounds fun.
Maybe more.
All right.
Like it. All right, let's make some Connor Bedard predictions.
All of them.
Greg?
Over on all of them.
I think he's getting a goal and assist tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to go on the low end. I want to go higher than that, but a goal and assist.
1 goal, 1 assist, 6 shots.
Okay. I'm going 2 assists, but 8 shots.
Oh.
Going a lot of shots, but no goals in this one.
Yeah.
Firing range.
If I do a shot prediction, I'd say 7.
I think some rebound goals are going to be scored on Connor Bedard shots. Thus, my Corey Perry pick.
That's my Corey Perry pick.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right.
Boy, I am struggling with the Pittsburgh accent.
It's a little strange.
It is different.
It's a little strange.
I thought everybody was going to sound like Dave Wanstead.
Yeah.
But it's not.
He's got a knee.
It's so strange. I like it. I very much enjoy the Pittsburgh accent, but there have been several times where I've had to say, what? to servers or whatever, because I don't know. I don't know how to describe
I haven't picked
it.
it up that much.
Yeah, that girl at the desk
have.
what is it called?
Purgatory.
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 I don't know what I was going to say.
Purgatory.
There were a couple times I said, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I love it though. I want to learn it. It is Leapfrog Boston is my new favorite regional accent. It's really good.
Steven, did the woman who gave you your coffee, did she have the Pittsburgh accent?
She had an accent. I don't know if it was Pittsburgh or if it was something else. I got to freshen up on my Pittsburgh accent.
Did she say yins?
I don't know what that
Here's
is.
Yin's coffee.
That's like use guys or it's yins is you.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
Who's Yin's coffee?
I don't remember a Yin's.
Here's Yin's coffee. I don't know if you do. Isn't it? I don't know.
It's not
exactly
it's
like
like y'all, but
it is kind of like
Yin's.
y'all. Yeah,
But it's
use
Yin's.
guys.
Use
guys over
Yin's.
there at the Jewels.
Use guys. Yin's over there at the Purgatory.
Yeah, Steven got flexed on for his coffee.
Yeah.
She liked them. She liked what she saw.
It was a fun one. I said, "Can I get something? I need something tall and strong." I got a long night ahead. She just flexed for me.
Nice.
Like, oh, all right.
Hey, you got
and a coffee, please.
you got yourself a new workout partner.
There you go. All right. Enjoy
Yins
the
are
game.
here.
Let's have fun. Let's be level-headed. Let's have a great time.
No, Jay, we have to be excited. You wrote about it.
I did write about it.
We must be excited.
You must be excited. You should be excited. But no excitement should end after tonight. That's my point.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you after the game. We are finally here, folks. We have been waiting for this, since before last season, quite frankly.
It's true.
But since May 8th, when the Hawks won the draft lottery, the day is finally here. Enjoy it. We'll see you on the other side. Hop on the ride, as Kyle Davidson says. Thanks for enjoying the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show. Thanks to Steven for running the show. Talk to you after the game.
We all silly like the mayor.